Everyone tells you to visit Everest in Tibet. But here's the surprise. Ask travelers what place they remember most, and many of them won't say Everest. They'll say this: a massive turquoise lake nearly 5,000 meters above sea level. A place so beautiful that almost every visitor to Tibet makes time to see it. This is Namtso Lake, and here's why nobody wants to miss it. For many travelers, this is where Tibet finally hits differently. Just a few hours north of Lhasa, the city disappears, and the world starts to feel unreal. The road climbs higher, the air gets thinner, and suddenly the landscape opens up completely. A lake that looks like an ocean, snow mountains on every horizon, endless grasslands fading into the sky. Namtso sits at over 4,700 meters, one of the highest Great Lakes on Earth. And yet, despite its fame, it still feels wild and open. One reason it's so popular is simple: accessibility. Unlike remote pilgrimage routes like Mount Kailash, Namtso can be reached from Lhasa in a relatively short trip. That makes it possible even for short itineraries, but here's the truth: most people realize too late. You shouldn't rush it. If you really want to feel Namtso, stay at least 2 days. Day 1 just scratches the surface. Think of yourself like a battery. You don't just visit this place, you recharge in it. Give it time and something shifts. That's why photographers come here. First-time travelers come here. Families come here. Even people who've seen Everest still come here. Because Namtso is not just a viewpoint. It's a feeling of scale, and space, and silence. In Tibetan culture, it's known as the Heavenly Lake, deeply sacred in Buddhism. Pilgrims have come here for centuries, walking its shores and offering prayers to the vast landscape. But unlike crowded pilgrimage circuits, Namtso rarely feels tight or overwhelming. Even when there are visitors, the land is simply too big. You can walk for minutes, sometimes hours, without feeling surrounded by anyone. Just wind, water, and silence. And then there are the seasons. Spring brings awakening grasslands. Summer turns the lake into deep blue reflections under massive skies. Autumn brings sharp air and golden light. Winter freezes everything into pure stillness. Same place, 4 completely different worlds. But there's one thing you need to know before coming here. Altitude is real. At nearly 4,800 meters, your body feels it fast. Spend time in Lhasa first, hydrate well, and move slowly. And don't underestimate the sun, it's intense, even when it's cold. For international travelers, Tibet permits are also required in addition to a Chinese visa. So planning ahead matters. But once you arrive, all of that fades quickly. Because what stays with you isn't the logistics. It's the feeling. Standing under a sky that feels too big to measure. Watching wind move across a sacred lake that has existed in silence for centuries. And realizing, for a moment, that the world is much larger than your everyday life. That's why Namtso ends up on almost every itinerary. Not because it's famous, but because it stays with you.